Hello, I'm Eric Sondheimer of the Los Angeles Times. We're back for episode number 2 in Talking Prep Sports with Coach Steve Miller, who always says he knows everything, right, Coach Miller?
I know everything about everybody, and if I don't, I ask certain things to give me the answer, as you will see.
Okay, well, we have a very controversial subject to start things out. What else? The balls. You know, LeVar and his 3 sons this past week, Melo, the 16-year-old, got his own signature shoe. All across America, they're going crazy. Are you going to pay $3.95 for that shoe?
I don't pay $50 for a shoe, not $500.
I know you go to. I know you go to Big Five.
I do. I look for the specials, not the $400 special.
Okay, on a serious subject, what is the point of naming a high school kid a signature shoe? Naming a shoe off a high school kid?
Well, obviously, the dad wants publicity through his children. He's put a lot of time into his children. The question becomes, when you put a name on a shoe, what do the rest of the players think about that? You need to know the relationship of the son to the players, whether this comes off as, I'm better than you. Those are things to be seen later.
Well, that's at Chino Hills High School. The players certainly are going to have to deal with it. Obviously, there's a lot of attention to the balls. They have their own show on Facebook. And Lonzo's playing for the Lakers. LeAngelo's playing for UCLA. LaMelo's playing for Chino Hills. Can they pull this off?
Well, the big question mark is, did the father check with the NCAA to say, hey, if my son wears his name on his shoe, my shoe, will he still be able to play college ball? I don't think this was done, which is putting his son in jeopardy to go to college.
But the father says he doesn't care. If he's ineligible, he'll just play, go to school for 4 months, and go straight to the NBA. Of course, that's in 2 years.
I have a real problem with that. I tell all the players I've ever coached, if you pick a college, if you tear your knee up, are you going to be happy to go to that college if you can never play again? What happens if he hurts his leg? What happens if then he has nothing? He has no college education. He's just going to rely on the shoe company. Well, maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't work.
And speaking of Mr. Ball, he's already professing some uncertainty about the new coach, Dennis Lattimore at Chino Hills. You used to coach basketball. What is it like dealing with parents who may have disagreements with you, whether that's in your philosophy, your strategy, or playing time?
Well, you know there's a thing called the fly on the wall. Well, today I have found
it's a prop,
a bug on the rug. Well, if this bug was sitting on the floor during the conversation of Mr. Ball and the coach, let's talk to this bug.
You're going to talk to a bug, really?
I am. I've talked to people that are like bugs, but this is a bug. So, Mr. Bug, were you on the floor that day? Yes, I was. What did you hear? Well, Mr. Bug here heard Mr. Ball demand that the coach run and gun, demand that my son start. He wears these kind of shoes, and now we got a problem. Because now he says, I don't want him to press. I don't want him to do this. Now, did the coach say anything? No, because he's got the publicity of Mr. Ball. So I'm saying the coach is going to ignore Mr. Ball. He's going to do whatever he says and see if Mr. Ball is going to pull the son out of school. I don't think so.
No. Okay, well, that's enough. It's still football season. We're talking basketball, which shows you how all our lives revolve around the Ball family. So it's like the Kardashians, among other things. Let's talk about the big game from last week. Mater Dei took on Bishop Gorman. You had a future UCLA quarterback for Bishop Gorman, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and for Mater Dei, it was JT Daniels, who's headed to USC. I thought they both had their moments, but clearly JT Daniels was the better quarterback on this day. He's only a junior, and I was impressed with, again, his poise. Thompson-Robinson is a great athlete who will get better because this is his first year starting.
Totally agree with you. Robinson is gone from wide receiver to quarterback. That's a huge change. He was scrambling for his life. Mater Dei's line was all over him. He really had no chance to show what he could do, which is too bad. Quarterback going to SC as a junior looked fantastic. He has great receivers. By the way, I would like a couple of those receivers to come to UCLA.
Yes, you are a UCLA fan.
I am.
Okay. But let's talk about, there were so many Samoans on the field, and they seemed to be fighting among themselves. You know, we have this map back there. You've been to over 200 countries. Have you been to Samoa?
I have not. I've been to Tahiti, I've been to Hawaii, but I have not been to Samoa.
The Samoans love to play football, and they're always tough. And any coach would want Samoans on their team, and it seems like modern day's got a lot of them right now.
Well, they are great football players. They had a segment on 60 Minutes about 6 months ago where they went to American Samoa and asked the parents, well, how can your son be playing football? Look at this. They all said, my son is very respectful. They do all their duties at home. But you tell them, go get football, quarterback, they go after him and start drooling. It's unbelievable change of personality.
Okay, well, let's go to our prediction segment because Coach Miller has got another prop. And I don't know what he's doing here, but we'll let him put his prop on and then go crazy here. And we're going to, first up is St. John Bosco versus Chaminade at El Camino College.
Okay,
what
but
are you going to do now?
Hold on. First, you have to have antenna. So those people that know Johnny Carson, there's the great Carnac.
That's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago,
okay.
But Carnegie is his assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So I am the great Carnegie. So with my antenna, I will be able to pick up the winning and losing of these games.
Okay, St. John Bosco versus Chaminade. Who do you like?
I like St. John Bosco. I saw their game last week with Aquinas. Aquinas defense is coached by Jason Taylor, who played in the NFL for 15 years. They were all over St. John Bosco last week, and I always say a loss to a great team is equal sometimes to a win over a lousy team. I'm going to take Bosco with difficulty of schedule.
Yeah, I'm going to take Bosco, even though this is the best Chaminade offensive line. I think what Chaminade wants to get out of this game is to prepare for the Mission League. If they can make it competitive, that would be a victory for Chaminade. The other game I want to discuss is Dorsey versus Gardena Serra, another city versus Southern Section matchup. I like Serra a lot. Their defense is tremendous. Dorsey is going to need to get some better blocking for its offensive skill position players.
Well, Dorsey's got Charles Mincy as their coach, ex-NFL player, played at Washington.
I think he'll need to play in this game.
I think he might just sneak on with the new uniforms they have. But honestly, I'm picking Serra in the game. I think they got better talent. They play tougher schedule. And I'm picking Serra like you are.
You can now remove this. I've seen enough of it, but we might make this a weekly segment, so we'll see. Finally, let's discuss the NFL cut-down day. One of those getting cut was Brad Kaaya out of Chaminade and Miami, and he was the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, and he came out early, and it's really a lesson for everybody that as good as you might be in high school, as good as you might be in college, the NFL is a whole different aspect, and yes, he's still probably going to get a chance somewhere down the road, but it really points to how good you have to be.
You have to be tremendous in the NFL, but when you are cut from your team, many teams have at least 3 quarterbacks. One that starts, one that's on the bench ready to come in an injury or bad performance, and a third string. So what Brad should do is just wait for his opportunity where somebody's starting quarterback goes out, the backup comes in, and then he becomes third string for some team, and who knows where that goes.
Well, we appreciate your time, Coach Miller, and hope everybody enjoyed this week's segment of Sondy, and what's the name of our show?
I forget. No, Sondy and the Coach.
Thank you very much. We'll see you in another week or maybe 2 weeks, depending on when the balls, again, are in the public spotlight.